Hey, Dustin Johnson here. I'm going to walk you through a breakdown of Shirt Remix using Century Percussion. The foundation of the song started in Ableton, separated the stems, and this song I'm using backing tracks, but the reason why, because I wanted to focus on the more percussive, rhythmic stuff on Century Percussion with the drums. So any samples you're hearing are mostly just natural acoustic drum sounds with like a combination of like electronic hybrid sounds. All right, so the foundation of this tune is centered around the snare actually. So I'm using the snare almost like a shaker slash hi-hat. In Century Percussion, you can see I have a sample controller, not too much effects on it, but I am using compressors to kind of get like a more grittier sound. And it's comprised of a couple different snares, ranging from a high-pitched snare to a low-pitched snare with a couple claps in between. So as you can see, from the edge all the way to the center, the pitch will change. I could have composed all the snares in the middle, but I think visually it looks cool going from the edge to the center. So I will have all the zones in Century Percussion turned on. So from center to edge to rim shoulder to dampening, all those zones are turned on. So you see the full expressiveness of the snare. But that's kind of like the integral part of this tune. Just fun fact about me, I love having the tightest drums be the snare and the tom, because I feel like naturally I like to play buzz rolls, and usually I'm playing hi-hats on tom 1, which is now a tom, a huge tom. But for this particular tune, I wanted to play the hi-hat or shaker snare hybrid thing on main snare. So if going to tom 1, for this one, I have only zone center and the edge really showcasing any other samples. So huge distorted tom. And the velocity is kind of kicked up to like 10. So how hard, even how soft I'm playing it, it's still pretty loud. It's going from like about like a 7 in volume to 10. Have a hi-hat on the rim tip, as you can see right here. A couple different hi-hats on this guy, actually. So, tom 1 and snare. Tom 2. For this particular tune, I usually have like multiple zones. So like, center, edge, but I just wanted this particular head just to be a straight up clap. But if we dive deeper into this guy, there's about 3 samples playing at the same time. To give like a different layer, so you have like a reverb sample on it, some distortion, and one of my favorite parts of this tune is playing this vocal sample right here, with the rim tip, kind of like flangered out, and then I have like a little like decaying bell, very like cinematic. Yeah, so if you go to these claps right here, it's like almost clipping, but I like how just like distorted it sounds, because it really cuts through the mix when you start playing everything together. And then for the kick drum, something very like thuddy, nothing too aggressive, just kind of like an underlying bass drum for this particular tune. Just to keep that groove going, because you know, 4 on the floor. We can talk about the macros right here too. Again, nothing crazy going on, but I added some reverb to the whole set, which is great about these macros. You can actually change like all the drums at once with a particular effect you want to add. So I added some reverb to it, some compression. Yeah, very simple stuff right here, but I just want it to be comprised of like a basic samplers, playing samples. But the cool thing about it is that I'm layering different samples together, which is a really nice thing about this software. I could just label, like right here, I have about 9 samples playing at the same time, which is great because I can audition them and see what kind of makes sense. Yeah! And then assign them to a particular zone of the drum where I see fit. And that's it. That's pretty much the breakdown of this tune. Very fun one to play.